Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 230 of Screw the Commute podcast. We're here with one of my favorite people, is Becca Tebon. She is a young lady who, after struggling with, she's laughing, because we just had a little pre-conversation about ages. After struggling with digestive problems, asthmatic bronchitis, and degenerative disc disease since birth, she had chronic daily pain, excruciating migraines, chronic fatigue, and multiple food intolerances that went undiagnosed even into her teen years. So she decided to to chuck all her meds, and she was just tired of treating the symptoms instead of the cause. And you're going to love her when we bring her on a little later. So that's what's coming up. And also, by the way, there are... Have you ever heard of Bumble or Tinder where the people go to date and stuff? There's thousands and thousands and thousands of 18-year-olds on there wish they look like her. I can tell you that right now. So there you go.
Nice intro. Thank you.
So I hope you didn't miss episode 229. It was one of my Monday training sessions on quizzes. And I'm going to have a quiz for you here in a moment. And on Wednesdays and Fridays, I interview great entrepreneurs like Becca. So check out 229 later. It'll give you all the ins and outs of how you can do massive lead generation using quizzes. And let's see, make sure you get a copy of my automation ebook. It's a freebie for listening to the podcast. We charge $27 for it, but it's yours free for listening. And you can check it out at screwthecommute.com/app. That's that's for the podcast app, screwthecommute.com/automate free. And by the way, all of these links and Becca's stuff and everything will be in the show notes for episode 230. And when you want to find an episode, you go to screwthecommute.com/230. You'll go right to Becca and see all her cool pictures and all her links and stuff. So grab a copy of that book. Then also get a copy of our podcast app so you can do all kinds of cool things with us on your cell phone and your tablet while you're on the road. And that's screwthecommute.com/app. That's APP. All right. Our sponsor is the Internet Marketing Training Center of Virginia. It's a distance learning school which teaches legitimate techniques to make a great living, either working for someone else or starting your own online business or both. You can check it out at imtcva.org, and we give big scholarships for law enforcement, first responders, and military, and we have a special Department of Defense scholarship for military spouses. So we want to thank all those people that keep us safe and allow us to do what we do. Now, speaking of quizzes, if you go to imtcva.org/quiz, if you have anybody in your family or you or a nephew or niece or grandchild or something that's thinking about going to college, you must take this 2-minute quiz that's going to expose a lot of things that colleges and universities are ripping you off, both financially and with the quality of education. So just be prepared to be mad after you take this 2-minute quiz, but it could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. All right, let's get to the main event. Becca Tebon missed 20% of her elementary years due to illnesses and surgery to remove a massive tumor from her left breast at age 14. And I have been begging her in a scientific fashion just to show this to me, but she has refused. There's a science only, but she
anything
also,
for science.
Yes,
Tom.
for science. It's only for our listeners so that they get a lot out of the podcast. So so she also had a poor self-image and poor relations with herself and food. And like I said, if you saw, you will see her in the show notes now. And when you visit her website, you just won't believe any of this is true. But as a college student athlete, she learned to make changes in her diet. She shifted her mindset and decided to manage her health holistically. Today, She is 13 years med-free and pain-free. Becca works one-on-one with others to help pinpoint specific challenges and find solutions and train people how to strengthen their mind and body as well as nourish it in the most delicious, and I have trouble pronouncing all the stuff she does. So it's plant-based flexitarian style. So
There you go.
Becca, are you ready to screw the commute?
Anytime I can screw anybody, I'm happy to do so.
Oh, is that right? Well, that's a whole different show there. So
Just talking about lead generation. Do you have like lead generation for like dating sites too?
well, absolutely, but you don't need it. You got guys lined up from here to Toledo,
I am
outside
in
your
a
door.
yummy, delicious, healthy 5-year relationship. So no, I don't need it, but you are so funny. And thank you for all your humor. And there was a time, to be honest with you, that I didn't feel pretty. So it's fun to be played like you like to play, because there's a lot of women out there that probably are feeling the way that I used to feel, and very inept and not happy inside, not feeling pretty, not feeling sensual or passionate. Maybe they don't even have a passion in life right now. Maybe they're going through some transitions and transformations of themselves and their relationships with their spouse or children, or who knows, especially I work with mostly women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and all kinds of stuff happens in those years that, we weren't prepared for. School didn't teach us. And if you don't have a parent or a mother figure that tells you the truth, then you are screwed.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then now do you still do that thing on Monday mornings, I think?
I do them sporadically. So Monday morning, the motivation, it's going to start coming back on actually this coming Monday. So I'm excited to do that. I'm changing the time because I played with different times. So,
what time was it, or before? It was some ungodly.
At first it was at 6. It was
Yeah.
at 6:30. I have clients. I'm out the door at 5:30 to meet my first
my
client.
goodness.
So I had to leave it aside. So I'm doing things more at like 1 or 11, 11. So I'll definitely put that on my website, and there's a calendar that shows where I am. It's like, where's Becca today? So you guys can find me and what I'm doing and how I can, support your life in some of the freebies and things that I have, which I don't really call them freebies. I call them give back. There's 2 hands that God gave us. And I've been very blessed to have many people, including Tom, give me a hand up. And so because of that, I believe in helping others. So there you go.
I think that was when I patted you on the butt one time.
You did not pat me on the back. You guys, he's not as bad as he sounds. He makes himself sound like a male chauvinist friggin' pig, but he's really not. He's a really nice and intelligent human being. At least that's what I keep telling myself.
See, I know you can give it back. So tell us.
You don't talk to all your guests like this?
No, heck no. I'm afraid of them. Yeah. So tell us about this flexitarian thing. I'd never heard of that before. What does that mean?
Yeah. So I have, we talked about me helping people one-on-one, which I love to do because many people need a mastercraft. There's not a cookie cutter thing. If you fall into this cookie cutter world or think that there's a cookie cutter solution for your health, your weight, you're wrong. So I, like many others, have created a program that can suit many people, but there's still some oddities out there that need a little bit more hand-holding. The program that I'm launching right now, and I'm going to be doing every month, is a different program, a different challenge, is a plant-based flexitarian intermittent fasting. And that's how I eat. And that's how I've been eating for 5 years. And it really changed my relationship with food. It changed my hunger. It changed my skin. You laugh that I'm 55 and I don't necessarily look 55. I think I do in my face. I've got the Sharpay, you guys, and I'm working on that too with another company out in Texas that sent me some product. But
well, you can feel comfortable in the fact that
my body is still rock hard.
Well, that's what I was saying. Nobody looks at your face.
Thanks, Tom.
No, but wait a minute. I got to stop you here because as soon as I read about as soon as I saw plant-based, I kind of tuned out. So let's get that
Oh,
off the table right now because, I got a whole freezer full of deer meat and stuff. So
yeah.
so when I
So
said
tune
that to
back
you, said
in.
this is more than just
Yeah, definitely
vegetarian
tune
stuff,
back
right?
in. So plant-based flexitarian, you guys, is how I eat. And it's taken me a while to be like 99.999% plant-based. And I don't think anybody can just like dive in and change things overnight. So if you're trying a new diet, a new fad out, if you're trying a Mediterranean or the keto, and I'll talk about that in just a moment, because the top 30 different type of diets were ranked. I'm sorry, the top 25 different diets were ranked this past year in U.S. News and World Report, which is a source that I highly value. And I'll share some of this stuff with you guys. But to step back, the plant-based flexitarian is just that. The flexitarian allows people to take what I share and make it flexible. So you like deer. So I'm talking about getting away from people thinking that plant-based means salads, it means lettuce, it means eating like a bunny rabbit,
Mm-hmm.
because it's further from the truth. I do like to have a salad a day, but I have to tell you, I haven't had a salad in the last 3 days. Why? Because I eat my vegetables in other ways and in different forms, grilled and broiled. And I have actually created, and we're going to be putting together a really nice program later on this year with my 6 main food programs, which is spiralizing grains, tacos, pizza, squashes, and desserts. Like, does anybody want to know how to eat a healthy dessert or have pizza and make it healthy, or tacos, right? So I'm not about teaching people how to make a salad. I think that's pretty easy. But people get sick of salads, and so do I. So I decided to take on a different genre within the plant-based mode and really dumbing it down and make it super, super simple and super tasty and super nutritious at the same time. So kids can even make it, and kids like it, right? So that's the key. If kids like it, and dogs will eat it, then you're onto something, because dogs are pretty picky too. So, right? You've got a couple of dogs out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I haven't noticed them being that picky, but I'll
Your
believe
dogs
you.
might not be picky. Your dogs will eat anybody and anything.
But I've been around dogs a lot, so yes, you're right. Some will turn their nose up at stuff. You got some kind of challenge coming up or what?
Yeah, so every month, my personal members in my 17-minute program, my FIT program, it's a workout, mindset, and food program. Each month they get a challenge, and I decided for 2020, my vision was to expand it out. I'm already doing the challenge. Why not share it with the masses and let them step into the challenges and see how they do, and help them to better their health, better their life, and make things a little bit simpler. So this is our first month. It's January, and our first challenge for my group is the 21-day intermittent fasting challenge. Now, there's multiple ways to do intermittent fasting. I'm going to be teaching 3 ways so that people can take on the one that is easiest for them. And I supercharge it with plant-based and the flexitarian method, so that helps people to infuse things that they like to eat, but also infuse more plant-based, more natural foods into their diet system. So this is not about a diet as far as losing weight. You do lose weight. You lose weight fast. But it's not about a diet. It's about a lifestyle. And I'm a lifestyle healthy habit hacker. I don't put people on diets. I don't believe in diets as far as that sort of thing. I believe in creating lifestyle habits. And so everybody is, all upset about the weight that they gained over the holidays, or, they're looking at themselves. It's that time of year, and they're trying to make resolutions and resultations about what they're going to do. And if they don't have a good plan, they're not going to be able to do it properly. So I put together an uber thick plan to show people exactly what I do with my one-on-one clients. And through that, they are able to take that. We're going to have daily emails. I have a private Facebook group for people who are on Facebook. We're going to be Zooming in on a weekly basis to make sure people are doing well on this. I'm hoping to open it up to 200 people. I opened it up within 15 minutes. We had 62 people that signed up. So I'm hopeful that we will hit at least 200 people, and I can touch 200 people's lives than I normally would be touching on this kind of level.
Now, did you say it was 21 days or 21 weeks?
21 days.
21 days. Okay.
It starts on the 13th. Yeah, it starts on the 13th, ends on the 31st.
So can people jump in if they don't hear about it until after?
No, I don't want people jumping in midstream. They're going to have to work with me on a one-on-one basis if they don't.
But you said you had challenges coming every month or so?
There's challenges every month.
Yeah, so they could, the next cycle, they could jump in.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And this program will then be able to be bought off my website.
Oh, I see. So they can still do it on their own.
They'll be able to do this by themselves. So we're gonna videotape and get everything organized. So it's kind of like an evergreen program, and people can have this at their own. They just won't be doing it as a group challenge. I thought that's what you were asking me.
I intermittent fast. I only eat between noon and 8 p.m. That's the first thing. And then I am ketogenic. So I can't wait to hear what U.S. News and World Report has to say about this. And then the other thing that I just comment on these, like, how would somebody possibly rank these things? Because I don't know, let's say keto was last on the list, but it's the only one in my whole life that worked for me. Right. So who's doing the rating and how, and the last thing I hate is when somebody's skinny is telling me how to lose weight. I like to punch them.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, let's not be ego. Let's take the ego and check it out the door. Let's talk about it. So, keto was not favored, and I'll tell you why in a moment. And it has, you've mastered it, and that's good. It could be confusing, and it can also be highly dangerous. So the way that it got ranked is very simple. It got ranked on the emphasis of simplicity, on plant-based cooking. It got ranked on the emphasis of healthy, easy to follow, and that was healthy for diabetics. It also was compared into a healthy heart, low risk of dementia, breast cancer.
Are you saying that all of them were rated on these different parameters? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
This isn't strictly keto you're talking about.
No.
Okay.
So all these got ranked into all of them. Now the top honors, if you want to know the top honors, and I'll be happy to share them. Becca Tebon's was not in there because nobody knows about it yet. For your listeners.
Yeah.
So and my personal clients.
It'll go right to the top then. Absolutely.
Right to the top.
Yeah.
So Mediterranean hooked up first, then DASH, and then guess what?
I don't know.
Flexitarian and WW, known as Weight Watchers. So the fourth rank was flexitarian. And
I thought you coined that term.
I did. Yeah, but I coined it before him. I just didn't put it out there and make a book and get famous.
Well,
but so here's what's interesting. The Mediterranean flexitarian and the DASH, that's pretty much like what my program exudes. So it focuses on, I think about it, my recipes, the foods I choose, the spices I use, they focus on thinking that people have high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol problems. So I try to take all those kind of ideas into habit, into thought, and infuse and put together recipes that are just really simple, easy, delicious, and healthy, no matter what parameters you may be falling onto. I don't eat dairy, so that's easy. So that's out.
How about almond milk? Do you believe in that?
I believe. I believe in God. I like almond milk. I like cashew milk.
Yeah, so those are okay.
Milk. Yeah, and they all have different textures and different flavors.
Yeah.
And so, depending on what you're looking to do, they definitely have value. They absolutely fabulous.
Did you ever try to make almond milk yourself?
No, because it's so inexpensive to buy.
I know, it's so hard to make it.
I have to tell you, I didn't make it myself, but I was with somebody and we made it. And it is absolutely delicious, and it definitely tastes fresher than it does
how long did it take you? And how many almonds did you burn up?
I have kids, I have a business, I have myself. I choose what I'm going to spend time on. And that's what I really want your listeners to take away from this as well, Tom, is you have to choose your battles in life. You have to make things as simple and easy so that you don't walk away from it and say, I can't do this. If something is going to take so much time and you rather spend time gardening, then you're not going to do it. If you rather spend time working your butt off and you're a workaholic like Tom and I are, then you're not going to do it. Like, there's a lot of things that I do, and there's a lot of things that I don't do. There's some things that I used to do that I can't do right now. And, depending on your stage and what you're able to do, you've got to make it flexible for your own self. And that's, again, where that word flexibility comes in. You can't be stringent on anything in life, especially your food, but you have to, I believe, I shouldn't say have to, you should make the best decisions for your health. And if you're not making the best decisions for your health, you're gonna be screwed up later on. That's, it's basic science. Like, you either take care of yourself or you're not taking care of yourself.
Hey, when you chucked all the meds, how long did it take you to become pain-free and overcome those things you had?
Yeah. So it's funny, like, pain wasn't actually, believe it or not, pain wasn't the first thing I was trying to fight. So being on all those meds and not being able to breathe all the time was really the first thing. It's kind of survival. So being able to breathe was one. And so because I was so asthmatic and bronchitis laden, about 5 to 6 months out of the year, I was on all kinds of meds to help me breathe. And, if you don't breathe, you might as well not even worry about pain. So my breath was the first thing. And I kind of got that nailed down to a bit of a science where it wasn't as bad, but I was still on meds for another 12 years until somebody told me about my household cleaning products and my laundry care products and my personal care products. And truthfully, I was like looking at them like they were cross-eyed. It was an MLM they were introducing me to. I thought they were just trying to sell me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the MLM became available for a penny. I thought, well, for a penny, I'll try anything, right? And so I tried it, and I got to tell you, within 2 weeks, I was 100% in my worst time of year ever. I was 100% perfect.
Wow.
And I called her up and I said, I know 26 people who either have asthma or their kids have asthma. I'd like to have a little breakfast at my house, and can you tell them about these products? So she said, sure. So I brought them over. 21 of them signed up. And she looks at me when they left. She goes, "You're so good at this. You need to do this as a business." I go, "No, I knew 26 people with asthma. And that's it. I have young kids. I'm not doing this as a business." I got calls from people above her in this, ranking thing. They're like, "Who the hell signs up 21 people in a day?" Nobody. They're like, "What have you been doing? What other companies are you?" I'm like, "No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just helping people." So it came to me about a year, maybe 8 months later, that I could do this as a business and I could create, because I had advertising and I know branding, I know marketing. So I decided to create online ads that would target people with asthma. And so I did. And so the story continued. And so I helped a lot of people not have asthma. And to this day, I still get a check from this company 10 years later for the people who still use these products because they're not having asthma anymore.
That's wonderful. Now, you've had jobs before this, though, before you got started, right?
Jobs?
Did you ever have a job?
I did have some jobs. I don't really think I have a job now.
No, I'm saying before what you're doing now,
yeah,
you
so
were
I
in
had
the
an ad agency. I had an ad agency for 11 years. And before that, I worked in all different areas of media because that was really the expertise that I wanted. And so I wanted to learn how to do it. So I got jobs and got paid to learn how to do it. I went to school for it. And so I got a job in direct sales, direct mail, magazines, radio, newspaper, and TV. So I can learn finally how I can learn how to produce a good TV show and commercial. So yeah.
All right. So what was the last job before the business, or did they overlap, or did you save money and then just quit and start your business, or how did the transition from working a job? Because a lot of people on here, everybody's entrepreneurial. So how did they get out? How did
you don't want to just talk about my health?
Your health is perfect. There's nothing to talk about anymore.
So that is a really great question. And I love sharing this story, especially with your Screw the Commute screwy people. So
screwballs, yeah.
Yeah. So you're screwballs and you're bought. So I did overlap because I had to have a little security. So I was working at a cable TV company, and I took that job. That was going to be my last job. I told them I would work for 3 to 6 months, and then I was leaving. I just wanted to learn how to do TV commercials. And I told them I would be their best salesperson. So there it was. I told them I would not double dip, right? Double dipping, guys, means that you're selling people that you're already working with from another company, and that is a no. That is no. So I told them I would never do that. And they hired me, and I did really well. I made a lot of money with them. And then one of my clients who had a franchise, a surfing franchise, asked me to pitch his company. And so I went to my boss and I said, I've been asked to pitch a company that I really want to do, and I'm putting in my resignation. And they had so little faith in me. They said, well, don't put in your resignation until you get the job. So I got the job. I pitched it against a big ad agency who spent like $15,000. I spent about $1,500. And I got the client. And what happened next, I'll tell you how I got the client too. And that's as important for your people. But I went back to my boss. I said, well, you didn't have faith in me, but I did get the client. So here's my resignation letter. And they said, can you do both? Can you work here and do that client? I said, I can, but I'm going to be making other media buys in TV, and that might be a conflict. And they said, nope, it won't be a conflict as long as you still place them on here. I said, well, as long as the ratings for what I need are still here, I'll place them here. Right. So, integrity,
Right,
guys.
right.
You got to have integrity. So I kept the job, but it had to be on my terms now, not on his terms. So, but here's the thing. I got the client, and this is what you want to know most importantly, especially as we're walking into 2020, it's about relationships. So I went to the 7 different franchisees and asked them what was good about the franchise, what wasn't, what they needed help with, and what they wanted to see more of, what they wanted to see less of. I knew exactly what they wanted. They were the ones who were voting for the ad agency, right? The other ad agency, I found out afterwards, never met any of them. Oh. They only took the owner to lunch and dinner and bought presents and whatnot and schmoozed him. So everybody knew me. Nobody knew the other company. They couldn't care because when the other company pitched, and then I went in afterwards with this little rinky-dink sandbox with lots of things in it that represented the problems that they had and how I was going to solve them. They loved my little rinky-dink sandbox and all the things that I was going to bring to the table, and I got the client. And I think that that's really important. So it did overlap. It overlapped for a while, but as soon as I got this client, I was ready to walk out the door. But because I had my the other job, and I was making a lot of money from that, I was immediately able to hire an artist and an assistant for my ad agency. So I was able to start building my ad agency and work my other company at the same time.
See, so the great lesson here is you did such a great job at whatever you were doing, with integrity. So you told them you were leaving, but you were there to learn, and you did such a great job, even though you knew you were going to learn, they didn't want to let you go. So that's one part of this. Then you got this client, and you still were getting money to finance your business startup because you did so great for the other company. I mean, if you hadn't have done great, they might have said, screw you, get out of here. It is a conflict. But you were so good at whatever you did along the way, people noticed, and they didn't want to let go of you. So that's a great lesson, and it's really a tribute to the kind of person you are, that's for sure.
Oh, thank you.
So we got to take a quick sponsor break, and when we come back, we're going to ask Becca what's a typical day look like for her and how she stays motivated. All right, folks, I really want you to go over to my school website and take that college ripoff quiz. I mean, it only takes about 2 minutes. And even if you aren't considering going to college or sending your kids to college, I'm virtually certain you know someone who is. So please pass it on to them. I mean, it's a new era. And I know it's hard to overcome 100 years of brainwashing where you had to get a college degree, but guess what? Only 20% of college graduates get a job in the field they went to college for. And there's tons of things I could tell you that would really make you mad about colleges, but just take the quiz. Plus, carefully watch the quiz and think about how using quizzes could help your business. In fact, the next episode on Monday is about lead generation quizzes. and how it's bringing in lots of new people that never heard of me. And I mean, some of the big places like BuzzFeed, just one of their quizzes might have 50 million users. So it's a really powerful way. But take the quiz at imtcva.org/quiz. All right, let's get back to the main event. Becca Tebon is here. She has overcome a lot of life challenges in health and helps a lot of other people realize their best flexitarian health benefits. I don't know how to say it, but
you said it.
So,
You're good.
So Becca, what's a typical day look like for you? You're a mom, you're a girlfriend, you're a business owner, you're a lot of things, a media person. So what's a day look like for you? When do you get up? How do you get going? All that stuff.
Yeah. So I think we need to play like some Rocky music here. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun.
Right.
Okay. So, the best way to get up is with Gia. And when I don't hang out with Gia, my day can just...
I don't know. Is this like a Gia pet or what? What
It's
is
not
Gia?
a Gia pet. No, it's gratitude, intention, and affirmation. It makes me happy. It makes me stop and just appreciate being gratitude. It helps me to ask the universe what it wants from me and state what I want from it. It helps me to just take awareness of more conscious level. Listen, we as humans only live between a 1 to a 6% in the conscious zone. The rest of it is made up in our unconscious behavior. Our behaviors are made up in our unconscious level of past incidences. And so I really want to be more on that 6%, 7% than that 1%. Don't you, Tom?
I certainly do.
It does not matter how intelligent you are to tap into your unconscious mind and into your conscious mind. It takes training. And so I have been training myself for the last few years to be more conscious.
All right. So, but this practically though, do you get up and like meditate or work on this GIA?
So I get up. I get up. I get up to get down. So I get up, meaning I open my eyes, and then I close my eyes and I breathe. I take notice of my breath, my circulation, of my body, and then kind of move myself around the universe. I know that might sound silly to some people, but I kind of expand myself out and then bring myself back in. And so I go into a state of gratitude. And sometimes you guys, there's not a lot of time, sometimes I feel like I have a little bit extra time. So I'll even set a timer so that if I go way out into the zone, I'm reeled back in because I've got life to handle, right? We have life. So definitely I do the Gia, and then I do raw celery juice. That has changed my skin. It has changed my digestion.
You juice yourself? You juice it yourself?
I do.
With a machine?
I juice myself, but I do have some really great companies that I recommend to my clients to juice with. They ship it right to your door. It's absolutely delicious and fresh. It's not pasteurizized.
Yeah, see, because I used to juice. Of course, it doesn't really go with ketogenic, but you have to get your pressure washer out to clean the darn thing every day.
It goes with ketogenic. I'm sorry, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
So you didn't have a very friendly juicer. I think that if it takes me a minute and a half to clean my juicer, that's really not a lot of time out of my life, and I'm willing to do that.
Well, what juicer is that?
I have a Breville.
And Breville is supposed to be easy to clean?
It is easy clean. I'll do a demo for you afterwards. So,
well, that was one of the problems. It was just, most of them are not, put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have seen some that are not. And so, like I said, Tom, I'm about helping people to make some choices that make their life easy and delicious at the same time, and healthy, right? And my bottom line is healthy, but I'm about helping people to make it that. And so then I'm out the door with clients drinking my lemon water. Sometimes I
Your kids are old enough that they're taking care of themselves at this point, or are they still in school?
God, yeah. No, I've got 2 in college and one that's a junior.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 in college, one that's a junior. So yes, they take care of themselves. I sometimes do some stuff for them.
Now, what about their eating? Do you come down on them? Or are they eating like you, or are they eating like kids?
They eat more like me.
Good.
They eat more like me. And sometimes I bring some snacks in the house and they'll be like, Mom, I don't want that. I'm eating healthy this week. So,
Oh, isn't that nice? Yeah.
so they really do know how to make really good choices. And I'll tell you guys, how I taught my kids how to make really good choices was it took a while to get them to eat salads. They didn't want salads when I started putting salads in front of them. I was like every other parent, macaroni and cheese, hot dogs, hamburgers. And then I decided, we need to get healthier in our family. And then I put a salad in front of them and they were looking at it like, that is not going in this mouth. And so I made it fun. And instead of making the salad, I put all the bits of everything into different little bowls and put the lettuce in the big center and little bowls around it and a little lazy Susan. And guess what? Dinner didn't come to the table until they made themselves a salad. So they made themselves a salad. It wasn't always, there was even chocolate chips on that salad bowl.
Oh.
I put everything there that they could like have some fun with. And
How
we
old were
eased
they?
out. So 4, 6, and 9.5.
Oh, yeah. So you got them when they didn't have a choice. Yeah.
Well,
No,
they
but
had a choice. They wouldn't eat. And it wasn't really made it like that. It was like, hey, we're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to do this first. What are you going to make in your salad? It wasn't like, it was presented in a fun way.
You made it fun, absolutely, in their formative years.
Bananas and apples and berries on your thing, and then you put some of the other stuff. And just because your kid doesn't like broccoli doesn't mean that they don't like raw, or they don't like raw doesn't mean they don't like it broiled or on the barbecue. So we have to be inventive as parents and make it easy for them. But getting back to my daily day.
Yep.
So then I see a bunch of clients and then I come home and I eat.
So you go to them? Is that what you're saying?
I go to them and they come to me. So I see a lot of people on the internet as well. I meet people either at a studio or at their homes if they live in my vicinity. Otherwise, if they're out of my radius, I jump on a Zoom with them and I do it live with them.
All right, but when you say a studio, do you rent a studio or do you have a deal with somebody that does?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
I teach at a place called Fit Space. I'll give a little perk out cup to them. And I also rent it out for my private clients.
Got it.
Yeah.
But you do Zoom.
So
anybody can use your services through Zoom then, right?
Oh yeah. And there's even people who are like, I'm 71. I don't know how to use a computer. Like, I'll show you exactly how. It's a push of a button. It's not complicated. I can help you. So yeah, it doesn't matter how old they are. We can make this happen for them and what level they're in or what's happening. I get a lot of people with bad back, shoulders, necks, hips, and knees because that was part of my degenerative disc disease. I had all these pains and all these problems and arthritis and osteoarthritis in my spine. And as a result of that, it was pretty painful. So I found that not working out caused pain. So if you're one of those people with arthritis and you have pain and you're like, I can't work out, let me tell you something. If you don't want pain, you have to work out because you have to strengthen the muscles. You have to move the lymphatic juices that are stuck in your body. You'll get that through working out. And you have to strengthen and kind of, I call it lubing the joints. If you don't move them, you're going to lose them and they're going to get dried out. And by the way, if you're drinking coffee, that's drying out your joints too. So if you have arthritis, go ahead and drink some more coffee and make it worse. There's certain things that make it easier. And I'll tell you what, I'll have people that be like, well, Becca, I'm not giving up coffee. And I'm like, well, how bad is that pain? When that pain is that bad, it's like people in AA. When something is that bad, you will move past it. You'll find anything that you can do to stop the pain. And so, I hate to have people have the worst pain being a doctor telling them that they have cancer. Like, that's not a good pain to have.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, so basically you can help them with any kind of pains. And what if they're just ugly?
We talked about makeup and Photoshop.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, Photoshop. Okay. I don't think you can Photoshop yourself.
You're not
on
nice,
Zoom.
Tom. Tom's really nice. He's just sassy as all get out. So if they're not, if they're not pretty like I wasn't, it's because they're not happy. When you're happy,
you were. You just didn't think you were. That's the difference.
I wasn't.
No, you were.
I wasn't. Because you know what? You can see somebody, and if they don't have a smile on their face and their eyes are not shiny and they're not happy, they're not going to be looking pretty. There's nothing like a really nice smile. and somebody is kindness from within to shine out, to share with others, that makes them beautiful.
Do you get into all this kind of stuff? If you notice that there's something about a person that really isn't what they think is wrong with them, do you bring it up?
Yes. People usually come to me to lose weight, and I help them lose baggage.
Yeah, I always say people our age, when they meet, there's always going to be baggage, but it would be nice if you could put it on under the seat in front of you and then the airplane.
Yeah, get it lost, right? Well, I think we have to reckon with that baggage, and then once we reckon with it, we can breathe differently. There's a whole system and process. I use Sanskrits and all kinds of tools in the holistic zone, herbs and things of that nature, to help people to feel better and look better and to think better. Clarity is.
So do you sell these products, or you recommend products?
I refer stuff out. I have a couple of things that I'm affiliated with, some stuff that I absolutely love that actually have affiliate programs. So sometimes I do make a couple of pennies on something, but that's not my end all be all for recommending something, but obviously I like to try it and taste it. But what I've also found though is I might like something that's chocolatey and chewy, and somebody else likes it chocolatey and crunchy. So, just because I like something doesn't mean you're going to like it. But if it's on a supplemental health basis and there's science backing behind it, then you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to share it with people who have, emotional trauma or pain trauma, not sleeping, digestive issues, metals in their body, things of that nature. So I do help people detox from the dilemmas that are in their life, as well as the things that are going on in their bodies. And I work with doctors that people, when they're working with their doctors, I help them work with their doctors to get off of some of their meds. Some people just really don't want to be on med, believe it or not. They don't want the causal relationship from one med that leads to another med that leads to another med. So
I am so fortunate. I am not on anything. At my age, that's like almost unheard of. So
at your age, Grandpa.
Yeah, that's right. So do you ever recommend people to get blood tests to see where they're at?
Yes, I love blood tests.
And there's like a million different things you can test for, right? How do you figure out what kind of test you ask for, and where do you go to get your blood test?
So I'm not a doctor, but being somebody who's been studying in this arena for over 30 years for herself and with other clients, I've worked with people with IBS, with Crohn's, with congenital heart problems, with tumors, with breast cancer, with who had intestines removed. I've worked with so many people, and as a result of that, working with their doctors sometimes, and sometimes just doing some massive research, I've been able to come up with ways to help people with migraines. And the basis of it, to be honest with you, is the gut. If that gut is not aligned, then you can bet your bottom dollar. If your gut and your spine are not aligned, you're fucked. I mean, basically, I start there. I usually start in the gut. You might have a pain in your head, but it's caused by stuff that's in your gut or metals. And I look at people and ask them if they have metal in their mouth. If they have their metals in their mouth, that's one of my first recommendations is drink more water and get the metal out of your body. And you'll be in a head start in the right direction.
Okay, so that's all day you do that. So then, I mean, you work into what do you do in the evenings? And when do you actually work on your business if you're working on clients all the time?
Yeah, so I have actually a schedule. I don't see clients all the time. And usually between 11 to 2, I'm working on my business with my assistant on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And on Tuesdays, Thursdays in that time, I speak to new clients. And then depending on how many clients are in and what I'm doing, I hope to try to be done from now on, working at 6:30 at night.
Oh, you slacker. Oh my God.
I know. 6:30 to 6:30. But it depends, I'm the boss of my own business. So
yeah, that's right.
I get to look in the mirror and say, can I have the day off? And sometimes I do. Sometimes
and then what do you do on the day off?
I garden. I go back outside. I chill out. I read. I study.
Hey, do you ever grow anything that you eat?
Friends. I don't have a garden right now, but I have 2 beautiful boxes that I will start back in March. And yeah, I have grown my own herbs, and I have a high-rise raised box, so I can do things like carrots and potatoes and root
Mm.
vegetables, and I like them. Some people have negative things to say about them, but
Yeah, they're not keto. That's why.
did we want to talk about keto?
Yeah, I don't care because I don't trust any U.S. News and World Report with the people that did the research are probably financed by certain places. So I don't trust any of that stuff.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with the keto diet, as with any diet. Okay, let's be honest. Any diet.
Well, I call it a
anything you do,
lifestyle, actually.
it is a life. So keto is. These are all lifestyle opportunities. The Dukan diet is a lifestyle
The
type of thing.
Dukan?
Is Dukan.
Never heard of that one.
Okay. So yeah, the Dukan diet is a lifestyle, and I'll share with you a little bit about that. But what they have in common is both of them take you to a ketonic state. So,
I don't think that's the correct term, is it?
Well, ketosis.
Yeah, ketonic is like you're like in a coma.
Don't go in a coma.
Well, you won't eat if you're in a coma, so you'll lose weight.
You don't want to. So it is. It's a high protein diet as well, and it also.
Well, keto is not a high protein diet.
So, but this one is. So
okay.
It differs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's limiting on the carbs.
So where was keto on the U.S. News list?
Last one of 35.
That is so ridiculous.
So here's why. So both of those are the ketosis metabolic state, body burning fat. They both help burn fat fast. There's no doubt about it. But there's a system to be in ketosis, and if you're really not working with a doctor or to test yourself or get tests, then it could be detrimental to your health. So because there's a detriment attached to it, there is, and there's no long-term studies on its effectiveness or people really sticking with it. Even you, let me ask you a question. How long have you been on it?
2 years.
Like steady, never go off?
No, not steady. No, because I got in that hunting accident, and during that 6 months, I had to go off of it.
So why did you have to go off of it?
Well, because the doctors wanted maximum nutrition from every angle to heal this big this 6-inch incision in my stomach. So and plus I wasn't able to even get up and around to do anything and to do it. I had to have other people doing stuff for me, and they couldn't do it.
So I like that your doctors wanted maximum nutrition from every angle, and I believe that is an angle that should be like every day. So because of that, I have taken in, this is just, the Becca, my intermittent fast. There's many different types of intermittent fasts. I'll teach 3 different intermittent fasts. And basically that means that you're eating in a certain time zone and you're fasting in a certain time zone. Now, believe it or not, if you sleep for 8 hours, you are then fasting for 8 hours. If you wake up and you eat right away, then you are only fasting for 8 hours. So there's science behind fasting for longer periods of time. But what's most important that they have found is, and I'll just tell your listeners, if they're interested in doing this intermittent fast with me, is it's not just about the fast, it's what you break your fast with. They have found way more results and science behind what you break your fast with than just the expansion of time of your fast. So with that being said and done, I have created really simple, yummy, delicious recipes that people can do. And here's the thing, and this is an important thing, you're not cooking every day. You're not cooking every day. And I don't believe in this meal prep stuff because I don't want to eat the same thing every day. But what I do is teach people how to food prep. And in those 6 delicious areas that I mentioned earlier, I create different and various meals using spiralizing grains, like taco type of things, pizza type of things, squashes and desserts. And so thinking in those 6 different areas, I eat really yummy, delicious food and don't get bored or sick of it. So
when you say spiralizing, I have this thing that you stick like a zucchini in and twist
Yeah.
it, and it turns
Yeah.
out looks like spaghetti. So that's my spaghetti.
Yes. Yes. That's a spiralizer.
So what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Well,
That's nothing.
that's keto.
Well,
Well,
so
it's one
keto
phase of
has,
keto.
woohoo. I love keto now.
Yeah,
It uses
I
spiralizers.
can tell.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so there's aspects of the keto diet or philosophy. I'll call it a philosophy because we don't want to call it a diet because you say it's a lifestyle. So there's philosophies within the ketoism that I believe are good. I think every plan has some stuff that is good, and every plan may have things that don't work for people. So that's why I built in my own rules into my own way of eating that plant-based. And I'll tell you, for a long time I was still having sushi. So can you be plant-based and be eating sushi? Only if you're a flexitarian, because if you're plant-based, so here's the other thing that I read when I digested the word plant-based. I read it as plant-based. The basis of it is plants. The basis of it is plants. The foundation of it is plants.
But you're smart and into this. The average person instantly thinks vegetarian. That's the problem with that term. And then you got those documentaries like Forks Over Knives. That's, it's all about no meat and stuff. So
yeah.
So I think there's a problem with that term.
I don't eat meat. Yeah, so I don't eat meat, but that's not to say that somebody like you who thrives on, a deer running across his yard and just takes a bite out of it is not going to be able to thrive on this program. Anybody with any type of food love will be able to thrive on this because it's going to infuse better habits and better food system. And so we take what we have and then we take another step closer to what's a little bit better, what's a little bit, what helps us to eat healthier, what's making our body feel stronger, what's energizing us at the cellular level. And when you look at it like that, then this is something that anybody can do, even you. And I would love for you to do this. Eat your deer when you normally do. And you'll see the similarities between this and your ketosis, your keto diet, but you'll also be able to see how this makes more sense than.
Well, see, some things will just kill the keto diet in like a couple bites, so you're either doing one thing or the other because, you can't have berries and, you're limited for weight loss to 20 grams of carbs a day. And some people can handle 50 and still lose weight. But if you're really strict, you're 20 grams of carbs a day. So a couple berries put you over the limit, so it kills the
hell yeah. And I probably eat 2 pints of berries a day.
Exactly. So you're hundreds and hundreds of grams of carbs.
But you know what?
You're still hot. What? You're still hot.
I have.
And you work out like 90 hours a day.
No, I don't. I work clients out. I don't necessarily work out. And I have my 17-minute program. So my program is only 17 minutes. It's not like, gangbusters. It's for people who don't want to go to the gym, don't have time, don't know how to work out by themselves.
That's
and
the
infuses
Monday
body
program,
weight
right?
and bands. That's the 17-minute fit program.
Yeah. So I don't think we're going to come to any consensus here on this call, but the one question I tell people when they start giving me crap about this, number one, if you so choose, you would go to dietdoctor.com and see the latest research, because a lot of the stuff that's out there is based on flawed studies that are old. In fact, the food pyramid that made people fat for the last 50 years was totally BS, the way
Correct.
it was evolved. So anyway, what I ask people is say, okay, which is going to kill me faster? Being 100 pounds overweight or using a keto diet's the only one that's ever worked for me long term? Pretty much the answer would be 100 pounds overweight.
You know what? At the end of the day, I would suggest anything that really feels good to you and is doable and results focused. If that's working for you, than
as
stick
long
with
as
it.
your blood doesn't go out of whack and you don't know
But
that you're going to die like tomorrow. Yeah.
If we're replacing some of our stuff with chemicals, and we're having meats that are not organic, and we're putting poisons into our body, then I always have to say no. Here's something really funny. I had one of my clients, his wife has worked or lost weight, with Weight Watchers so many times. And he was like, I think she's going to be working with you. And so I met with her and talked to her. And she says to me, I think I'm going to go back to Weight Watchers. I like going there and having to stand on a scale. And I thought, wow, because she said, because I get mortified if I haven't lost any weight and everybody else has.
That's a mental part of it. Yeah,
everybody's got different challenges, but here's the thing: if it works so good, why does she have to keep going back?
Yeah, right. I get that.
That's what I say in my brain. Of course, I'm like, well, if that works for you, you should do that. But my inside, I got in my car and I just had a little chuckle. I'm like, this is her 4th time.
Why don't you tell her, okay, I'll videotape you here at the thing and put it on Facebook Live.
Oh my gosh, Tom, because that's something Tom would do.
All right. Well, we got to pack it in. So, boy, this is great catching up with you. And tell everybody how to find your stuff, if you got anything for them, and what websites to go to catch all your stuff.
You can go to www.beccatebon.com. That's BECCAT as in Tom, EB for Becca, ON for Nancy, beccatebon.com. And you can find all of my programs and any current challenge that we're having right there.
Beautiful. So everybody, I'm just thrilled because I mess with this lady a lot, but she is really the real deal that cares. So many people are just in it for the money, but she really does care about seeing the results from people. And especially she has lived this kind of pain and agony from sickness and bad things and over medicated. And so she's not just giving you a book report. She's lived it. So thanks so much for coming on, Becca.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on your podcast. An honor.
Okie dokie. So everybody, we will catch you all in the next episode. See you later.
Ciao.